Tell me when we're live. We are live. Spot Dodge, a live Nintendo podcast where every single week we react to the latest Nintendo news and tell you about the games we're playing. I sort of mixed together this intro with my other podcast, and I'm all befuddled and messed up. So I'm just going to jump into who's here with me, which is Mary Stowe, social media manager at Destructoid and host at Destructoid. How you doing, Mary?
I'm good.
Awesome. She just got back from PAX, which I'm sure we'll hear some stuff about that.
Yes.
Greg Vargas is also with us tonight. He's a writer over at PC Invasion and streamer at Dynamite Giraffe. How you doing, Greg?
Oh, I mixed this up with my other podcast. I'm so sorry.
My weekly podcast, Geeks of the Galaxy, where we talk about all things Marvel and DC.
And a plug.
But yeah, Greg, I didn't mess up saying giraffe. So, okay, like I'm going to mess this intro, but at least I said that correctly, you know?
Hey,
And then lastly, we have indie developer and managing editor over at The Escapist, John Frisha. How you doing, John?
I'm just delighted to be here, Brett.
Awesome. You know, I look forward to every Tuesday hanging out with you guys, shooting the shit, you know? So let's talk about Nintendo. Not much Nintendo news this week at all. It's been a very dead week, so we'll have to fill time with some other stuff, like how Greg's sex life is. I don't know.
Terrible.
Terrible. This is a family podcast, by the way.
Oh,
No,
it's great.
definitely not. Every week I say this is a family podcast. Definitely not.
This is a fucking family podcast.
Yes. But also, if you're new to the place, or if you're new to listening, please subscribe. Tune in every Tuesday. Or if you want to, you can go check out our archived streams. They're over on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just search Spot Dodge, or even search Nintendo Podcast, and we actually come up near the top, which is really awesome. Unfortunately, that doesn't reflect that well in terms of subscribers, but hey, it's pretty cool. Now, oh yeah, one last thing. If you want to be a part of the show, make sure you leave a comment in the comments section, not on the live stream. Post in the comments section to be on next week's episode. So yeah, we're gonna get into some comments later. I haven't looked to see if anyone left anything for us last week, but we'll see.
Brett, I gotta say, this is your smoothest transition.
I know,
to a
right?
podcast
I'm
we've ever done.
buck wild out here,
Intro
man.
ever.
It all started when you called me the king of the cucks. That's where it began.
That was for the pre-show listeners, all right? The people who pay for the Patreon, they get to hear the insults. I'm just kidding. There's no Patreon. But but yeah, guys, it's gonna be a bit of a crazy show. We're gonna let loose, talk about games. I mean, we don't even really have to get into any of the news, to be honest, because there's really nothing of any substance or importance. So I mean, John, how was your week? Like, what's up?
How's your family? How's your brother doing?
How's your cat?
They're good. They're all good. I hung out with a friend on Saturday. We ate some Five Guys.
Oh, and then you went out to eat.
So we. I'm just about to say. Oh, so we are talking about sex lives.
Yeah.
No, I've had a pretty good week.
Awesome.
Do we want to talk about what we're playing already, or?
I mean, we could, or we could just get this news out of the way and then just go into that.
Well, actually, here's what we should do real quick. We
Alright.
have one very important comment from last week,
Oh,
and it
let's
is
get into it.
it is from a sex bot.
Oh
It's-
God!
And
Come
but-
on!
no bonus points. It's in Spanish.
Oh,
Son unos sex baby dot uno de los mejores años no se la dot dot. There you go.
I mean, that was pretty nice reading of it, to be honest. I mean, they're our biggest fans. So.
Rico.
So,
Yeah, guys, please share this podcast with your friends. We want more than sex bots leaving comments, for the love of God.
It actually wasn't a sex bot. It was me.
Oh,
my
okay. So it
apologies.
wasn't.
My Spanish is a little rusty.
Did
My
the car
my
just
apologies.
drive right by someone's room, like at full speed? Because that's what it sounded like. Did anybody hear that?
yeah,
It sounded so close. Like, what the hell?
dangerously so.
I'm surprised Greg's hair didn't just like move a little bit from the wind. I don't even. Did that come from Greg's or was it John?
I
don't
think
even-
so. No, it definitely was
It
not
wasn't
me.
me.
What? Okay, maybe
My
it was
house,
Eric.
surprisingly,
Yeah,
for
maybe it
living
was
so
Eric.
close to an airport and having traffic go by my house all day long, like as soon as it hits about like 3 o'clock, it's like almost dead silent over here. Like
That's
at
crazy.
nighttime, we'll be sitting in our living room and it's like, why is it so freaking
Oh
quiet?
my god, I can't do that. Dude, there's always a fan on in every room in my house. Literally
Mhm.
everywhere. Like a little box fan sitting on the ground because I can't handle silence.
So I
Wow.
told my
That's
sister to
when the
check out the
voices start
podcast.
talking to me. What?
So I told my sister, I was like, "Hey, check out the podcast whenever you get a chance." And she goes, "The first thing I hear is about sex bots." Great.
Nice.
She's 7. She'll get it later.
Yeah. But yeah, what were we talking about before the sex bot again? Like I already forgot. Let's
Well,
just
we
get
were.
into the news.
News.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Super Mario, the movie has been delayed until April 7th, 2023 in the US. It's a little later in Japan. It's coming out here first, right? That's kind of strange.
I think so.
I forget already, but yeah, it's a spring. It's the spring window. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to this movie because it's such a mystery because they already said they're not doing the accent of Mario, which is going to be strange.
Mm.
And the fact that Chris what's his name?
Pratt.
Chris
Chris
Pratt.
Pratt
Yeah.
is playing Mario. That's really weird. And the fact
Yeah.
that like Mario never really has a lot of talking or anything in any of the games. So like they're going to make a whole movie in an animated style. Like I don't know. I just feel like it should have just been the normal voice actor set in the Mushroom Kingdom using the accent and giving us a funny tale of Mario and Luigi. Like they could do some fun stuff with that,
Yeah.
but we're getting a full-blown Hollywood cast and it's going to be really different than what anyone thinks probably.
Yeah. I was just about to ask your opinion on the original voice actor not being used. Because I know
Well,
how
he's
you
being
are.
used, right?
I
Yeah,
think
he
like
is
as a
in the movie.
cameo, but he's not like
Well,
Mario.
He's
I
probably
think
Wario.
the way like they described it. Oh yikes, that's scary. The way
Jeez.
our man Eric in the sky has shared a terrifying image on our screen of a
Yeah.
monstrous
Shout out to
Chris Pratt Mario.
shout out
Like,
to Eric
come
on the
on.
ones and twos.
Yes.
Yes. I don't remember what I was saying anymore. Oh yeah. So the actual Mario voice actor, it sounds like he's going to be like several smaller characters in the movie. So like kind of a cameo, but also kind of like my impression is sort of like Hank Azaria and Harry Shearer on The Simpsons, where like they're not playing like Homer or Marge, but they are playing like 100 important characters. That's the vibe I'm getting here. That's what I hope is the case.
Yeah, me too. I'm hoping that he's like very prominent in it as like a bunch of random characters because he does a lot of
Yeah.
the voices in the games, not just Mario. And
Yeah.
I don't think they've said who Wario is, right? Like he
I
could
don't
be
think
Wario.
Wario. Well,
I don't think
I
so.
think he's just not in the movie.
He's got to
I
be in the movie. Come
What if it
on.
was
eh,
all just a what if it all is just a giant like shill to get people to go to Super Mario World at Universal Studios?
Like the
they
whole
don't need to
movie is.
convince us.
Yeah,
Like the instant that's
I've
opening,
yeah,
you
Oh,
know.
I'm so excited, dude.
Yeah.
definitely. It looks
Just
it looks weirdly small though, in my opinion. Like from like the top down images I've seen. So that's kind of disappointing, but I don't know. Maybe it'll be awesome.
I thought we weren't
yeah.
talking
I mean,
about sex lives.
Oh, weirdly small. It took me a second to like, what's he talking about?
But I
but
so I was thinking this whole time it's going to be, well, two things. So number one, I think at some point it's going to be like some weird thing where they get, sucked into the game and, they're, maybe they're having a Mario Party night or something. I don't know. But I feel like that's going to be like the premise of it is to like get Mario's voice back or to give Mario's voice back or, something to that effect. But I think Nintendo has a huge like leg up in this situation. They could they're, playing it pretty conservatively, delaying the film, but they lucked out because they had one of the biggest video game film adaptations, which was Sonic in the first place. And the movie was announced, I think, not too long after the first one. Wasn't a car at my place. So
Whose place
got
is
me
it?
you
out.
say so. Like,
It might be, I think it's Eric, maybe.
His mic's not on. Probably not. Okay.
but
Oh. I don't know.
Okay, we're just being haunted by a mock truck.
And I just want to say, Eric, once again, your voice was not in the final recording. As many times if you've told me, yes, my voice is in the final recording, it literally never is, and I'm disappointed. But anyway, go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, and so they lucked out having these two major video game adaptations and finding success in both of them. And I feel like that laid some groundwork, or at least some like comedic cues, or
Where is it coming, Mary?
It's not me.
It's Mary. It has
No,
to be.
I hear it too.
What is happening? There's like a drag race competition right by someone.
I didn't want to say it. Those are my farts, and I'm sorry.
This whole time, it's just Greg's stomach churning.
I ate like this hot bowl of porridge for lunch, and it's not agreeing with me. No, but no, I think they, Nintendo lucked out in this situation. They had look at, what time in history have we? Well, number one, we haven't really had a really good video game to film adaptation. Granted, there's been other, like Wreck-It Ralph, at least, brought in some of those characters and things like that, but nothing was ever having the characters, as the main focus, and bringing really that animated world and live action together. And
Until
Nintendo
Sonic.
kind of
Yeah, I was
until
gonna say
Sonic.
Greg's pissing all over Sonic by not mentioning it.
No, I mean, Sonic is as the example, and I feel like Nintendo has been able to kind of watch and see what Sega has done, and then maybe that was really the main decision behind it. Is like, plus, like, how can you? That's got to rile up some feelings, to lose to Nintendo in the console market, or when for Sega to lose to Nintendo in the console market, but then beat him out in the theater. And I'm sure someone at Nintendo is going to be like, okay, we gotta top
Yeah.
Sega in this film
Yeah.
game.
I literally was just writing a script earlier for mine and Mary's show, and it talks about how like Sega lost in the gaming department, but then they won in the movie department for now. And can Nintendo actually end up winning in this department as well? Honestly, I'm not sure, because I feel like Sonic makes more sense as a film than Mario does, like as a character, and that whole world makes more sense as a full-blown feature film. But I mean, I don't know, maybe they'll pull something off that's like amazing that like nobody saw coming, kind of like how Sonic was. Not that it was amazing, but it was decent.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
I still haven't seen the second one. I'll get
Me
to it
either.
eventually.
Son of a.
Do it. It's good.
I'm sure it is. I fully expect to enjoy it. But
Mary saw the movie and immediately was like, "I love Knuckles. I'm dyeing my hair red," and that's why she did it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
that works. I mean, I think, well, so Brett, you said that you think the world of Sonic is more adaptable to a movie, but like, I mean, it seems like Mario has like a lot more consistency overall in its world. Where like Sonic, it's just kind of like, all right, what desperate gimmick are we gonna roll out this time and see what happens?
Hey,
He's a werewolf now.
I've been playing Sonic World lately on Wii U, and that's the best Sonic game I've ever played. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, it actually
Yeah,
is.
Lost World is fantastic. Yeah, I've been championing that game for years. Suckers are missing out.
Yeah. It's actually really good. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like Sonic, the characters have more personality to them in general. Like Mario's,
That might
all
be
his
true.
characters are very cut and dry. Like, it's me, Mario. I'm a plumber. And then there's I'm Waluigi. Like, okay,
What is
what
that?
is happening? Greg, what did you eat?
It is dead silent over here, man.
What?
Even my farts are silent.
I like that the audience can probably not hear it.
You don't think so?
I don't know.
That means I'm gonna have to go in and add a noise so that the audience knows what we're reacting to.
So we're all hearing it inside our headphones, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Not in real life.
This
What
is
is
really
it, like,
suspicious.
what's the name for it? A group hallucination or something? There's
A group elation.
yeah, chat has confirmed we cannot hear it. No, only the people.
Really?
What?
What the fudge?
What is
is
happening?
Oh, man.
It's Eric then.
So we just sound like psychos then.
It's Eric. It has to be Eric because he's always silent. Like I said earlier, he's never
Wow.
on the show. We can hear him, but they can't.
Yeah, just
So Eric, stop farting so much.
yeah. Just please believe us that we're hearing like really loud like automotive noises like zooming straight past our heads.
That's
Um,
Facebook's fault.
Okay. So
What?
something to do with Eric's Facebook. Well,
I, I, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
yeah.
Eric is
But-
piercingly loud in my ears, so I can't understand anything he says.
the bottom line
He
is
said,
That's what it sounded like. It was
the
like
bottom line, it's Facebook's fault. We'll deal with it. We'll try to pretend that there is not a mock truck whizzing past our heads every 5 minutes or sooner.
Yeah, let's just try to ignore it from here on out.
But
Okay.
anyway, we were discussing personalities of video game characters. I believe we left off at you going, "Wow."
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
Sonic has said more words in one game than Mario has ever said in his entire history. So he just has more of that like cinematic appeal, I think, in terms of him talking and actually having a personality aside from Mario saying it's a Mia Mario. Like that's all he is. That's all he ever has been. That's okay.
I mean, I think, well, so like Sonic, of course, he had a history of cartoons in the first place. He had like the early 90s cartoon, and then he had another cartoon immediately follow that I think they were both just called Sonic the Hedgehog.
I can't remember.
And
I used
the
to watch
original
him.
one, the original one like is the cartoon that gave him the chili dog love that they then like transposed over to the movie, which is like such a good fan nod. And then the
Mhm.
second one had like Mobius and like it was a little grittier. And then there
Yeah.
was a third one that I forget what was the third one. It might have been the Sonic Underworld one where all of a sudden he's a musician, or is it? I think it was Underground. I don't know. And then there was Sonic X, the anime. So
Yeah,
anyway,
Sonic X.
bottom.
That was the
Oh, yeah.
badass looking one.
That was
One of
like
them.
the actual anime one, I think.
Yeah.
So
Looks
and
like
then there was
Pokemon.
years later there was Sonic Boom.
Oh
So
God.
that's
So
at
they
least
changed all their
5 different
proportions.
shows. Yeah. I hear that was actually a really good show. I never watched it because like I
I
wasn't
heard it
really
was
the
a horrible
demographic,
game,
but
though.
yes. I've heard the game is terrible and that the actual show is like bizarrely excellent. So
Yeah,
it goes to
it was
show
like
that
one of the
Sonic
first.
should have never been a video game character.
Yeah, should have just always
Damn.
been movies and,
Yes.
and TV
Movies
shows.
and TV. Yeah.
Actually, no, because I mean, I have some amazing memories with Sonic. Like, I'll
Yeah,
be
no,
honest,
yeah,
like
yeah.
so many memories with Sonic 2 on Sega Genesis and Sonic
Yeah.
Adventure Battle 2 on GameCube.
Mm, yeah. I mean, I loved Sonic 3 because that was the first one you could actually save your game. You weren't just screwed when you died. You could try
Yeah.
again because it saved, and
Hmm.
then you plugged in Knuckles on top, which barely made sense, but it was awesome. And they
Mhm.
just hid the fact that it was the other half of a game that was supposed to be there in the first place.
Yeah.
But
Tower of
But yeah,
Cart.
no, Sonic Adventure was fantastic. Like that was really that's what introduced like major story to Sonic and showed that like you could actually have a story in a Sonic game.
Yeah.
And Mario's just never really bothered to do that because Miyamoto don't care.
Yeah. As a
Like
kid, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think like Sunshine is probably the deepest they've gone outside of the RPG games with
Yeah.
story in a Mario game.
Hmm.
Yeah, like
And
Paper Mario does some good stuff, and like Mario RPG does good stuff.
yeah,
I
of
mean,
course.
and a Mario and Luigi does.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, the mainline games are so dry of story, like nothing really.
They don't care. Like Nintendo doesn't care.
And that's fine for those games, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
but I do like that the side games do have more story to them. I teared
Mm.
up playing the latest Paper Mario. There's actually a genuinely sad part of that game. Like,
Yeah.
I've
did
heard.
you play that, Mary?
I beat it.
I could
Like,
not believe that. Like, no one talks about it because
Yeah.
nobody played that game. But it was,
I've heard there's like a really shocking moment.
yeah. Like, I was like, oh
Yeah.
my god. Like, I felt in my heart, like, what the heck? It was a very shocking moment.
Huh.
I won't spoil it, but people should play it. It was actually pretty good. I reviewed
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
was trying to in my head like recall something from the Super Mario Super Show, the animated show that had like the live action intro part,
Mm-hmm.
but nothing even comes to mind.
I
It's just
remember
like
like
mostly
nothing.
rehashes of like 2 and 3. Yeah, I remember the intro.
They
Like,
Oh,
were,
yeah.
I mean, they were fun for what they were. Like I
yeah,
too barely remember them at all, but yeah.
Earlier, I was gonna say that Sonic Adventure Battle 2 or 2 Battle, whatever people call it.
Yeah.
I always call it Sonic Adventure Battle 2. But that game was so good, and it came out when I was young, like probably like 11, 10. It was so good that it made me play the Genesis games, even though like they were old at that point. And I was
Right.
so into Sonic that I was playing the old games and watching the animated series whenever it came on TV, all
Mm.
because of that game. And that like made me love that franchise for like a hot minute in my life. And then one day I was just
Huh.
like, Sonic Heroes came out. I was like, no chows. I'm not gonna buy that. And then I never played another Sonic game again until I was an adult.
Dang. You know, it's funny. Actually, just this past weekend, we had an op-ed go up at The Escapist that was like basically everything you just said. That Sonic Adventure 2 Battle introduced a whole new generation to it. It made the author go hunt down the old games, and like, yeah, basically everything you just said.
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
which was like some of like my question too when I went to the theater for Sonic Adventure 2, the Sonic movie, the second one, and there were so many kids in there, and they were like, oh, that's so and so, and they could point out different characters and whatever. But I was like, what the hell game have these kids played?
Yeah,
Like
that's what I was
what
Right?
wondering.
I think we talked about that last time. It was like, what is their Sonic Colors?
The
And that one
last
even
game
was a
was
poor
Sonic
release.
Forces, and how long ago was that?
Yeah, that was a while ago now. That might have been
That was 5
2017.
years ago.
So
Like,
maybe Sega is doing something right.
yeah,
you
like
know?
what are these kids playing? Like
Or their
they played in.
parents are just like, here, we still have our old console. I don't
Yeah.
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, like I said, my niece saw the new movie and she absolutely loved it, and she got a Tails Build-A-Bear, and I don't know if she's ever played like any of the games. So, you know.
But yeah, now finally as an adult, I'm going back and playing a lot of the ones I missed. I started Sonic Forces, yeah, Sonic Forces, and I got kind of bored with it. Like the level design was poor, the movement and mechanics was bad. So I kind of stopped, but I'm gonna get back to it and finish it. But I did start Lost World, and it's like genuinely good. Like
Yeah.
at first, I didn't like how like you're on this cylinder type thing, and
Mm,
you're kind of beholden to that. And there's no like normal open spots of any sort. You're always on like some type of thing that'll spin. At
mm,
first, I wasn't sure about it, but then I realized, okay, this is actually unique. This feels different. It doesn't
yeah.
feel like a normal game. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's on the screen right now. But yeah,
Yeah.
and it's still
Yeah.
gorgeous. That too.
That looks yeah. Like yeah, that just looks
Yeah.
fun. But it also, like, before the game came out, and I felt this way too, it reminded a lot of people of the canceled Sonic game on Sega Saturn. There was going to be a game called Sonic Extreme that had like this fisheye view and like these rotating worlds, kind of like this game, and it was like, oh wow, are we finally getting Sonic Extreme? Like, is Eric's got us covered? Like, isn't that's a really funky looking game in terrible quality because it was from like the late 90s, but
Hmm.
yeah, like,
Yeah, that
I
looks
don't know.
interesting for
That
sure.
was
Look at him
Yeah.
It
run.
yeah,
does remind me of it. That's exactly how it looks
yeah,
almost. Like that same weird type of it's almost like the world is moving and Sonic's staying in place a lot of the time.
Hmm.
So
yeah,
who ripped off
yeah,
who?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did Nintendo rip it
Well,
off
this game
for
was
Galaxy or
Oh,
did
I don't know.
mean, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
they
I'm
probably
willing.
inspired each other, maybe.
Yeah, I'm willing to give Lost World a free pass because specifically because of Extreme.
yeah.
Yeah. It
Like
obviously
I
was
am
based
sure
on
that
this.
yeah, like I am sure that Galaxy had an influence on Lost World in some capacity, but like this did exist, so you know,
Yeah.
Sonic can call dibs.
Yeah. And then I also started Sonic Adventure 2 Battle again. And it's really good, but these sections specifically are so bad. Where you're looking for the emblems or the
Oh
what's it
yeah,
called? Yeah, the Chaos
Chaos
Emeralds,
Emeralds.
emeralds.
Yeah.
Because
I hated this level so much.
dude, the things beep, but only for the next one that you're looking for. If there's one right by you, it won't beep if it's not the next one in order.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
that just annoys me because I just feel like it should beep for any of them, not the next one that you're supposed to be looking for. Um,
right.
but yeah, aside from those sections, it's still great so far. And I'm trying not to get addicted to chows because honestly, I've spent probably more time playing the Chow Garden and Sonic than like most other games in my entire life. So I don't even need to go back down that rabbit hole. So I'm just trying to play the main story and quit. But I keep on giving them chows all their little abilities and stuff. I don't see it talked about much, but do you guys know that there's a Chow cheat in the Chow Garden?
What?
Oh.
No.
I played the original Dreamcast game, and I don't think it had that.
It did have chows.
Did it have that whole mini game though?
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
I don't-
But
Yeah, you
the
could
first
take
one
them
had
to your
chows too.
garden, and then you put them in your
Sonic Adventure.
VMU, and you could. You used to be able to like feed them like a Digimon or whatever.
Yeah,
I
you
And
remember
give
you
the
take
them
them.
VMU stuff.
animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get animals from levels, and you pick them up, and you can only carry like 10 or something at a time. So you have to like try not to pick up items if you don't want want one to fall off like as you're beating the level. You're like, no, I didn't mean to pick that up, damn it. But anyway, you can take the animals back to the Chow Garden, and if you perfectly place the Chow in front of you, and then pick up the animal and drop it right in front of them, but don't hand it to them, they'll still feed off of it and do the little like animation, and then the animal, you pick it up right whenever it's supposed to like fly away, and you can keep using the animal over and over again and get up its stats like super
Oh.
high without playing through a ton of levels. But the thing is I used to do that and like build up all their stats, and then they end up basically like what's it called in Call of Duty whenever you hit a certain level,
Prestige.
and yeah, you can basically like prestige them and then start over, and then like they evolve, and then you keep on working their grades up. But anyway, it was much easier in Sonic Adventure 1. So what I used to do is I would put my Chow on my Chow from Sonic Adventure 2 on my Game Boy Advance and put it in Sonic Adventure 1 and do the exact same cheat. But in that game, you don't have to constantly move back and forth when you pick up the animal. You literally just have to keep pressing like B over and over again, and it's so much easier because you can mess up in Sonic 2, but not in the first one. So that was my little scheme as a kid. I'd put them on the first game, get their levels up, and then move them back to Sonic Adventure 2, and it was really cool.
Well, there you go, folks. That's your in-depth tips on how to maximize your Chow
On a
experience.
15-year-old
20-year-old game. 20-year-old game.
Oh, 20-year-old game. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah.
But yeah, that game is a 10 out of 10. Actually, the Chow Garden
Chow
is a 10 out of
portion.
10.
Chow Garden is, yeah.
The rest of the game is like a 7.5 or an 8.
I think my favorite Sonic game was probably Adventure, but specifically because of how long it was, I don't think I ever replayed it.
Hmm.
I really liked like the sub open world element of Adventure 1,
Mhm.
and I was kind of sad that they got rid of that in the second one, where it was just more like
Yeah.
level based.
Yeah, I missed that stuff.
Those are two
Yeah,
very special games. I don't care what anyone
Yeah.
says.
Oh, totally. No,
It's-
yeah. I mean, as far as 3D goes, those are generally regarded as some of the high points Adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like such a like pinnacle time too, because well, at least for the first release on the Dreamcast, that was like, you know, Sonic going full on 3D. That wasn't 3D Blast or, you know, some
Yeah,
running
like
racing
real
game.
3D. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was really deep, you know. I still go back and play it every so often, and I'll, you know, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. I almost always remember exactly where I was too. I'm like, oh yeah, I need to finish, you know, Big's level or Amy's level, or you know, go back to Knuckles and need to get one more thing, or go back to Casino and I forgot I need to go, you know, get his shoes or whatever. But
Yeah.
I don't know, it was just such an awesome time, and I remember I looked up trailers for Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast by logging into AOL of all places and going to like, I don't even remember how to like get to like some portion that I think IGN had like some place that they could upload trailers for games and stuff, and I remember watching them all in Japanese and was just like, this game is going to be so great, it's going to be amazing. Like
Yeah.
yeah, is
Mm.
Dude, one thing that really begs the question, like, why has Sega not utilized the Sonic Adventure name in any of their games? I feel like if you call one of the Sonic games, like if you called Sonic World Sonic Adventure 3, I feel like it would have been a way bigger thing. Like people would be like, "Oh my god, they're finally doing it! They're finally doing Sonic Adventure 3." Like
Mhm.
Well,
I'm surprised Frontiers or whatever it's called wasn't called that.
well, I mean, I think if they can't call it adventure, because like Sonic Adventure, like I think it kind of carries this connotation that you're going to be playing as like multiple characters, and like
Hmm.
Sonic Lost World wasn't really anything like that, you know.
I don't know
But
if it
I
carries that.
I
No.
understand what you mean though. Like from a marketing perspective, yeah. Like you'd think just to make money, they'd want to just slap an Adventure
Isn't
3
that
on
weird? Like
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
if they would
Yeah.
have, it's dumb to say, but like as a fan of that like sub series, if they would have named any of those games Sonic Adventure 3, I would have been there,
Yeah.
even if the
Because of
Yeah.
too
movies
many
suck.
expectations.
Mhm.
Probably.
I think I fell off after Heroes. Like I don't think I bought another Sonic game, 3D anyway, after Heroes until Generations came out.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I feel
used to
like they
have
need to
a
hit it out of the park with whatever's next. Frontiers, or
Yeah.
Frontier.
yes,
Sonic Frontiers. It's like their Breath of the Wild moment.
yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it's good.
Yeah.
I think I am gonna actually buy it like day one because they spent a lot of time with it. It looks like visually more impressive and like its scope looks a lot bigger than any of the previous Sonic games. So I'm into it. And like Sonic the IP is it's funny because like no games of any of like no AAA games have come out in 5 years, but the Sonic name seems bigger than ever because of the movies. So it's just kind of
Mhm.
funny.
Right. Yeah, more brand recognition.
And I think I don't know if they really saw that coming, but I'm sure they're very pleased with the movies doing well because you know that this game's going to end up doing well.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
what I
coming
was
to
just
Switch.
thinking.
It's coming to Switch
Yeah.
too, so it's probably going to sell it
Yeah.
really well on Switch too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think if I get it, it'll probably be a PlayStation 5 thing. It's like when it comes to multi-platform releases at this point, like I want the really pretty graphics, and the Switch is not gonna get me there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sure
I'm
it'll look. I mean, I don't know. It's open world. It might
yeah.
run terribly.
Yeah. I realized that like I don't think we've seen any images yet of the Hogwarts Legacy game running on Switch, but in my mind I've already
Mhm.
manufactured this idea of it looking like a PS2 game.
Oh
Like
no.
I have like these vivid
Probably
mental
accurate.
images of it just looking hideous. Yeah. So, you know, but we'll see. Now, in the
But I
meantime
wonder.
though, we do have Sonic Origins coming.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
like
I
that.
can't believe
It's
I just can't believe they're charging $40 or $45 for these really old games that you used to be able to buy for like $20 altogether.
Yeah.
yeah, or like $5 each, and
Yeah,
or even less a lot of the time, or just
yeah,
on the Nintendo Switch subscription. Isn't some of them on there?
yeah. And there's also Sega Genesis Classics. That collection has, I think, the first two games.
Mm.
So yeah,
Why?
but
I just
Why?
can't get over the weird things that you have to pay, like, for the deluxe edition to get. I was like, "What?" Like,
yeah,
it's
What is it?
it's like, it's really weird things like menu camera control or, like, character animations, like, in menus, you only
yeah,
get if you buy the deluxe version.
for $5 more.
God,
But I was
It
even
is
like
Sega
very
ran out of
weird.
ideas right there.
yeah, I was like, "Why are you charging menu animations?" Like, it's not extra characters, it's I don't know.
Sega's biggest enemy is itself.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they especially like, okay, so I was thinking about this too. So like with Sonic Boom, it was one of the few games running, I believe, on Unreal Engine 3, maybe I just most likely 3 on the Wii U. And that was like a big deal at the time because the Wii U was starved of titles. People often commented on its hardware capabilities, and this was yet a game that was running on Unreal Engine 3. What was the Big Red Button that developed it? And
Yes.
it looked gorgeous, but then when it came to the actual execution of the
Okay.
game, they had their follies. In my mind, Lost World is an okay game. It's very pretty to look at, but I've noticed like just some of the things in the platforming and the way some of the levels scale left to right, I just think there's a lot of inconsistencies with the way you platform and some of the obstacles and stuff like that. But
Mm.
it's like always something, it's always like, yeah, they made this, like like Sonic Mania, and then they completely shit the bed with something else. And so like this, it's like, okay, yeah, they're doing an excellent job with the movie, and yeah, this game really looks promising in terms of frontiers, but then they, go and like charge you extra for menu navigation. Like, get the
Oh,
hell out of
and here's
here.
the other one. I had to look it up. I was like, I'm forgetting something that's like critical. Hard missions are not part of
Mm,
standard. It's only
hard
with digital
difficulty.
deluxe.
That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
So how much
As
is
some have
digital
noted, it
deluxe?
should have just been
The,
$45 then, if
yeah,
that's
the
what they
digital
Yeah,
want.
Yeah.
deluxe is only
that's the
$5
price of the real
more.
game.
Yeah.
$45. So yeah.
But yeah, standard and it's like, okay, here it is exactly. Like hard missions, character animation in the main menu, camera controls over the main menu islands, character animations during music islands, and additional music tracks from Mega Drive and Genesis titles. And I'm like,
Musical tracks.
but character animation in the main menu.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that's
have to
weird.
pay.
But
I
I
don't
was
know.
curious, is so the animated like stuff, like the cutscenes, are those gonna be throughout the games? Like as
No.
cutscenes for the story? Because that would actually be really cool, but
No,
yeah,
I
I
think
think
that's
that's what it
just
was.
like a cool intro sequence, and like maybe there'll be an
Of
outro. I don't
course.
know, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I was under the impression it was going to be in between like game
Missions?
sections, like newly animated. Yeah, like
That
the
would
way
be
that it was
awesome.
described was like newly animated scenes, and I was like, oh, something about it made me think that it
All new
implied it was in
animated
between
content.
missions. Yeah,
Yeah.
But that doesn't
Oh,
make it I mean, I don't know.
yeah,
It might
yeah,
be like three times throughout the story, like one in the beginning, one in the middle, one at the end.
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. And also, it is worth noting that like these aren't just ports. Like these are actually like basically I think they were like rebuilt from scratch to like look and
Hmm.
feel like the originals, but these are like native versions. There's no
They
emulation going on. And that's why they're able to do like 16:9, and I think they've even added some new animations and stuff. So you can
yeah.
kind of imagine it as like a definitive version of these games. But one
at
thing they
first
haven't
glance, it
mentioned
just
yet, yeah, it's
sorry.
pretty. One thing they haven't mentioned yet, but it seems pretty likely, is we're probably not getting the original music for Sonic 3. There's
Mm.
been like I guess like Michael Jackson was like involved in the music in that
Oh yeah,
game,
I
and there's
saw
like
that.
Oh.
some weird rights issue with the music in that game, and that's why Sonic 3 is usually excluded from a lot of these collections. Not always, but usually. And so
Hmm.
we're kind of just like bracing ourselves for different music here.
Okay.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
was for a good while I was following this project. It was a fan project. It was Sonic and Tails, Sonic 2 HD, and it was like some fan made project, and they would do like these like live streams where they would um do like some of the animations and how they were doing the pixel art, and different characters and enemies, and they would show updates. And there was Tony Lays.
Mm.
He's like a uh I don't know if he had anything to do with the original soundtrack, but he was making some music for the game, and it was awesome, and did like this cut of this track for the intro to it. But then like that, just like updates started to become really scarce and few and far between, and then there was like one every other 6 months, and then I haven't heard anything about it. But that was like the most promising thing to me, and I wonder if any of that team, just like headcanon was part of the whole Sonic Mania thing, if they were
Hmm.
at all involved in this project. I'd be curious to find out.
Be cool.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
obviously Sonic has like a ridiculously dedicated community, and they have like some of like the most fan games of like any game series. Probably the
Yeah.
most, if I had to
Mhm.
guess. Like I'm not positive, but yeah,
S- Sonic Mania is technically like a fan game that was made
Yeah.
by
basically
fans.
that just happens to be better than the other games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know, I don't understand that. At that point, Sega like concede. Like
Mm,
let the
Y-
fans, if they've got the skills to do it, let them do it.
Mhm.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean they kind of did with Sonic Mania, and I love whenever developers do that. Like, uh, um, Valve, they let the fan made version of Half Life One be sold on Steam. Now, obviously, they get a cut, but
Mhm.
They created the original game and they let
You
fans
mean
make a
Black
new
Mesa?
version. Yeah, Black Mesa is what it's called, but it's a Half-Life 1 like full
Right.
remake, and
Yeah.
it's great. I've only played half of it, but and I'm so glad that they let fans do that because if they're not doing it and someone else is doing it for free and you can profit off of it, why not just sell it officially if it's genuinely a good product? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or at the very least, like just like let it exist.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Yeah.
like Capcom,
Don't take
God,
it
this
down.
Capcom, this might have been like a decade ago already. Ah, geez. There was some guy who was just making a fan game of like Mega Man versus like Street Fighter or something, and a Capcom exec happened to see it, and he was like, "Oh, that's cool. Let's make it part of the Mega Man anniversary." And they
Yeah.
did, and it was just
Yeah.
given away as this free game, like officially recognized by Capcom. It was wild.
Yeah. Wasn't that like all they did though? And then that's like the only celebration they did
Um,
for Mega Man.
that could be like there was definitely a dark time after Inafune left Capcom. Yeah,
Yeah, they just
but
act like he didn't exist.
yeah, but there's better days ahead this year. Like there in the Capcom leak from like this was already like over a year ago. Like there's something like with like a big budget by Mega Man standards coming possibly this year.
Mm,
And there's also one more
Mega
cool
Man
thing
Legends.
coming that I can't say or else it would hurt my job, but it's something cool.
Hey, just
nice.
whisper it into the mic and maybe we'll
Mhm.
act like we didn't hear
Exclusive.
it.
That's gonna
John
be on a
Fisher exclusive.
be on some random article over at Nintendo Life or something.
Man, that would piss me off if it was them.
Well, okay, okay,
Hey,
they must be listening.
yeah, that car was going by right now.
But I didn't realize John hated Nintendo Life. This is news to me.
No, it's just well, no, it's just number one, they used to be a competition, and number two, they will like they will contrive article topics on like the most like just the most frivolous things just to get like 5 more clicks. Like
Mm,
I get fatigued.
yeah.
But anyway,
One thing that always bothered me, not about them, but about other sites in general, because you know how you do the source, and then like the other one, what's it called? The
yeah,
source, and then
Vias.
yeah, via. We would cover something that like no one else was covering at all. We would cover it, and then all of a sudden the same topic would start popping up on all the other sites. So you know that they got it from us, but then they
Mm.
wouldn't put us in the via. Like,
Well, Nintendo Life was good about that, and
okay, well, I didn't know
and
if they were
yeah,
specifically, but
and well, the one that's terrible is Nintendo Everything. They don't source anyone for anything unless they absolutely have to.
yeah.
Sometimes I would call them out on it in Twitter. Like, yeah,
That was
but
like my
anyway,
always breaking embargo and not sourcing correctly were like my two biggest fears, or still are really.
Yeah.
Like, luckily, I've never broken embargo, but I mean, it's been pretty damn close, like in some situations.
Yeah, there was one time for the Detroit Become Human review. I I had a draft, a blank draft that I accidentally published for like 2 seconds. I was like, oh shit, I made it private again. But then
Mhm.
I ended up using that draft as my review. My review went up at the embargo at the right time. But then whenever
Mm.
Sony came and saw the review, they saw like a week prior. And they were like, "What the hell,
Oh.
guys?" And I was like, "No, no, no, no.
Oh.
It was not up a week ago. It was up at right on time. The article just said a week ago because I accidentally
Uh,
published it." So yeah,
oh,
that was the whole thing.
oh.
Back when I used to get Sony review codes. Rest in peace. Um,
cue memory from cats. Anyway,
what else is on the what's on the list of topics? Let's see. Anything important or
well,
big in any way?
Splatoon.
Splatoon
I don't
3.
know if any of us play it, but that is still important.
Yeah. Splatoon 3 is
Play
coming to
it.
Switch on September 9th. So that's cool. I'm
Yes.
interested if I see more of the single player stuff and it looks cool, but if not, not my thing.
Well, it certainly
Yeah.
Yeah.
looks now like that and Xenoblade swapped places since Xenoblade was September.
Yeah. They definitely
Mhm.
did.
So kind of seems open and shut there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's funny is last week or maybe the week before, I was like, I've always wanted to play that Splatoon 2 single player expansion. It always looked cool to me. And they just randomly added it to Nintendo Switch Online. But the downside is you still
Expansion
have
pack.
to own, the expansion pack.
Yeah.
You still have to own Splatoon 2 to play that expansion. So I'm not buying the game, even to play. It's like even though it's free, like the game's probably still $60. That's probably not worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it is one of those games though that you can like reliably find on sale during holidays.
Yeah.
Although finding it for like less than $40 might be a challenge though.
Yeah.
Nintendo
It's got to
needs
be
their
one of
cut.
those buy two get. It's got to be one of those like buy two get one free, and then you're like, whatever, I
Yeah.
got it free.
Exactly.
Something like that. Yeah.
But yeah.
So,
I always thought that expansion looked cool because I want to be a part of this series, like in some way, but I don't really like multiplayer, and I don't really like the whole idea of this multiplayer. But I was looking forward to playing that single player campaign, but I just never got the game or the DLC. So maybe I'll get to it one day now that the campaign is free.
yeah.
Speaking of multiplayer games, didn't you have Project Q on there?
Project Q, it's not coming to Switch, but
Is
it
that
was
like QAnon?
No idea.
Welcome to the QAnon
Wait,
podcast.
what is this?
Let me get my tinfoil hat on.
This is going to be a free-to-play Ubisoft game. They're following their whole
Mary's
plan that they
face.
laid out, and that they said that they were going to start focusing more on free-to-play games. We got Hyperscape. We got maybe one more since then, and now we're going to get this. Nobody's going to care, and it's going to fail. Moving on.
Yep.
Yep.
But no, I love how they confirm that there's no NFTs, and
I
this
was
is
just
not
about
a
to
battle
say that.
royale.
Not a battle royale.
Like, are you
Don't
looking for a
worry.
round of applause? Like, what do
Yes.
you want?
They want people to start cheering. Yay, no NFTs. It's
Yeah.
I
Hey,
just
we're
think
not
it's
doing the
hilarious.
shitty thing. Yeah.
yeah. Like
Remember
Yeah.
that thing we
congrats.
did in Ghost Recon like 2 months ago, and then we shut it down
Yeah.
immediately?
Like 2
Everyone
weeks
hated
ago.
it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's it called there? Ubisoft Quartz.
Ports,
Yeah, Quartz program.
Quartz.
But this is called Project Q. So what
Oh, Mary just blew the case wide open.
Yeah, it's not in the game, but you redeem something to
It
get them.
is the game.
game
Fuck
is
that.
the NFT.
I wonder if that well, and so you bring up an interesting point though, actually, because in their marketing, one of the terms that they use is like something like it'll let users actually own the game or something like that. And that was like one of the taglines.
I don't know.
Man, this is starting to get really fucked up really quickly.
Oh no.
Because like number one, it doesn't look fun at all. I mean, it looks like Sunset Overdrive, how it plays.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know, on
it
Switch.
looks like every game trying to mimic Fortnite.
Yeah.
Like Sunset Overdrive was the OG of that art style, but then
Yeah.
Fortnite like popularized it. And now 100 games are trying to look like it, but look a little different. Maybe like add like a few tweaks to the character models, but they're going for the Fortnite thing. They want the kids to play this game.
Look, kids, it's fun. Just like Fortnite. Look, you can shoot a firework gun.
Look, you can throw
So much fun,
dodgeballs.
kids.
It looks like
Oh,
Fortnite.
crazy!
Destruction All Stars looks like Fortnite with cars.
It's like
Boy,
why
Fortnite
can't they
does have
just
cars.
not? Why can't they just not make a bad, Ghost Recon game, like or
Dude,
That's a good point.
I tell this
seven DLC packs later of Assassin's Creed? Like shit.
dude,
Like it's not that to me. It's not that hard. Like I don't understand this.
the thing is that like Ubisoft used to make awesome single player games, and like they don't really do
Yeah.
that much anymore. And I just want to like remind people, every time there's a free to play, a multiplayer focused game, a games as service type game, that's money and resources that could have gone towards something that was actually good or something that was different for Ubisoft. But no, they're going to keep trying to do the same thing over and over and creating these, I don't know, just all these games as service games, which it's fine, but we're missing out on other experiences that could actually be worthwhile for every time one of these games happens. And when I hear Sony, I'm just getting into a rant now. Whenever I hear Sony
Here we
say
go.
things like we're making 10 games as service games. 10. How many gamers are there? Like
Yeah.
they're all going to be spread across all these games as service games that none of them are going to be satiated or have enough of an audience because there's going to be so damn many of them. Sony's making 10. What does that even mean? How do you make 10 games as service games? And
All
how are you
mobile
so
games.
confident in them? Like after seeing all these failures, constantly failure after failure, every Avengers, every Babylon's Fall, every Hyperscape, and you're just gonna make 10 of these
They
things.
gotta figure out the formula. One of them's gonna succeed one day, I guess.
Yeah.
Is their
I mean,
logic? I don't
it's
know.
there's Fortnite and Destiny and like
Rocket League and Apex
Apex.
and Call of Duty.
But see,
That's about
but
it
see,
in terms of
you know, like
massive ones.
they're like I just wonder like what was it though that, you know, like you look at the games like Warzone, like it still has, regardless of, you know, how many players have left, there's still a large player base. Same thing with Fortnite. I think at the end of 2021, Apex Legends generated close to $1 billion in revenue for EA. So you know that game's going to continue with its updates, regardless of whether or not the two heads of Respawn Entertainment left the company. I mean, it's in good hands and it plays exceptionally well. I'm just saying.
If
But
that
it's
was
like,
Square Enix, they'd be like, it didn't hit our
yeah,
expectations.
yeah.
don't worry, the team has been executed. Everything is fine. But it's like, but why, like, even as like massive video game developers, like, why would you look at the market and be like, yeah, we can kind of weasel our way into where? You know, gamers' wallets are already stretched. They're already paying for skins on, you know, Call of Duty. If they're paying for any sort of skin on Apex, if they're buying skins in Rocket League, if they're paying a subscription, you know, for any one of those battle passes, like what exactly is left to get from them? Us.
Yeah. Plus, like, I mean, with some of these games, like, I don't understand why they don't just like market it the way you would a game from like 15 years ago. Like, think of like early Call of Duty, where like it was you know, I'm assuming I never played the series, but like, you know, like it was a fun game and it had a multiplayer component. And if you wanted to enjoy the multiplayer component, you could. And there was a complete experience there. And there was no expectation that there was going to be 5 to 10 years of additional content. Like, why not just market it as like, hey, here's a fun game and you can do multiplayer if you want. And maybe we'll add some more content later. Why don't you just market it like that? Then it's not a failure if people aren't playing it 5 years later.
That's exactly what that one studio did with the game that was on Game Pass. What was that? They explicitly said this is not a games as service game. There's no additional content planned, even though it looked just like a game service game. It wasn't. It literally was just a complete experience that you played and then you were done. And that was
The
it.
Ascent?
No, it was a third person shooter. It always escapes me. I beat it and I still can never remember the name.
Yeah, I can't
Was it The
remember which
Ascent?
one.
No, it was what
The
was
Ascent?
it? Square Enix published Outriders. Stop saying The
Oh.
Ascent.
Oh,
Which they
Oh.
just announced DLC or something like that for it.
that wasn't a
massive
live service
expansion
game?
on it.
Yeah, I think they did just announce some big new thing.
Yeah,
It's
I
called
mean,
like Shock.
but I think
Butt
it's like
or
a traditional expansion. It's not like this.
Mm.
It's just like if what's a game, for example? If The Last of Us got an expansion for Left Behind, like you're not expecting more, but you get you get more content, so that's cool.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a difference though. Like you're saying, you know, there a chapter and additional content, like, you know, an hour's worth of stuff to do or a mission or whatever, is much different than paying, you know, $19.99 for a skin pack of,
Yeah, that's
like,
weird.
you
that
know, a
That's
weapon
even.
skin, clothing. Like, that just seems awful. And
I still can't comprehend how it's normal to pay $20 for a skin in a game, but that's just
I
not
didn't even
me.
know that. I didn't even know they charged that much.
That's
It
common,
depends,
John.
yeah.
Jeez.
There's some there it's like the full like legendary super fancy. Basically just a flex at this point that I have $20 just to throw in a skin. Is what it feels
Okay.
like.
It's honestly
Cool.
kind of crazy because there's a company like Nintendo that like puts so much love into one character. You get a level, you get music, you get this whole new move set, you get a brand new Kirby swallow thing, and then
Yeah.
and that was
what?
all, and then that was all like $25 for like a year of content or more.
Mhm.
But then no, over in Fortnite, it's $25 for, I don't know, to play as Venom.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
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 Dang.
I don't know.
And
Sometimes
it
I look
does
at
nothing. It's just the way he looks. It's no
Yeah.
additional content. It's just he looks like that now. I don't know.
Yeah, and like even if you do, buy a skin or two and you have, whatever. Like I remember jumping into Fortnite and and there was like some random kid in my lobby and he was like, "Oh great, the guy with the default skin." I'm like, "Listen here, you little piece of shit, 10-year-old.
Listen here,
I'm
fucker.
gonna come over there and fuck you up." But it's like now that exists because
Yeah.
of games as a service exist. And it's like I played video games because I was getting bullied. I didn't play games to get bullied.
By a
Now
10-year-old.
it's both.
Yeah.
Both by
Asshole.
10-year-olds.
Yeah. At two different
Classes.
times in my life.
Classism is just the gravy that they're pouring on top of the experience.
But yeah. Yeah, them lobbies, they be pretty crazy out there still nowadays. Like it's not all like nice how people imagine. It doesn't look like a I don't know. Never mind. Let's just move on to the next thing.
I will say, it still does exist. I mean, I had a situation like that this weekend. Like we hot dropped into this one place, super sweaty lobbies all night, and like there's people like as soon as you land, they're trying to kill you. And I jumped in with these two people, and I have no weapon. You land with no weapon. What are you going to do to the enemy? Melee him while everybody else is getting shot. So I finally pick up a weapon, run back. My teammate gets downed, and I'm like working with the other teammate to find loot and to go save him. And then, at the end, I'm the one with like, I don't know, like 400 damage done. They did like 80 a piece or something. And he's like, "Wow, you're such shit. Why didn't you come over and help me?" And like just talking mad crap the remainder of the time that he's sitting there, still alongside, because in Apex Legends you can res somebody once you grab their banner, you can bring them back into the game. And it was like, what is the point? Like you did everything wrong and now you're mad at me. And then it was just like after that, it was just lobby after lobby of these like, I don't know, disgusting couch people like, that are probably just sitting at home all day, sweaty, haven't showered, with soda
Oh my
stains
gosh.
on their tank top, their white tank tops.
Those aren't
And just
soda
like,
stains.
you, you're such trash. I can't believe you. It just like makes me so mad. Because if
Yeah.
if they were next to me in real life, I'd probably rip off their arms or something. I don't know, kick them in their shins.
They're more like Apex losers.
There you go.
Yeah, you Apex losers.
That'll really make them sting next time, Greg.
Yeah, I should just bring you into the lobby with me. Come play. I'll teach you, John. I'll show you the ways.
Make it happen.
All right. Are you guys ready to call it a night, or you have anything else to talk about?
We didn't even talk about the games we played.
No, we didn't. Oh yeah, I beat Horizon Forbidden West.
Yay!
Hey.
Finally. And keep in mind, Horizon Zero Dawn is my favorite PS4 game of all time, and it took me over a month to beat the sequel. So that sort of says something for you.
Scale of 1 to 10, what do you rate it?
Like a 7.5.
Okay, that's higher than what I was giving it.
I don't really like
dang.
ratings that much though.
I was giving it a 6 out of 10 though. That's what was
dang.
Yeah.
There's so much to appreciate about the visuals that I feel like a lot of people have a hard time looking at something so breathtaking and being like, it's okay. But that's kind of how I feel about the game. Like I so appreciate that they were able to make one of the most gorgeous games of all time with phenomenal acting, amazing animations, and some really cool set pieces and stuff. But just the overall structure of the game, the level of like balancing, all of that felt way off to me. The story gets pretty silly at the end. They have some really intriguing stuff unfold in like the first third of the game, and then in the last third of the game, it's like, this is really what you're doing. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so
Mary,
really
what are your,
incentivizing me to finish the game.
Well, no, it's just like I fell out of love with it. Then I got to like a certain point where I was like, okay, like this is actually really getting interesting again. I'm back in love with it. And then it immediately fell off again. I was like, wait, like you got to keep that momentum going. Like I don't know, like the pacing was weird, I guess. To me,
Yeah.
How much time do you think you felt like was in between those highs and lows? Like, were you riding high, like I'm 2 hours invested, and then it just like I don't even know what I'm doing.
Yeah, like I would focus on the main quest, get really motivated, get really into it, and then as soon as like I wrapped up a main quest, and it would just be like, okay, time to go, do a fetch quest or something. Like I was like, what? Or like go talk to this person, and then like it's just this big long lull before it really draws you back
Mm.
in. And it
Mm.
was weird. And by then I'd get like distracted with side quests, or am I gonna go like do this over here? And so I ended up spending too much time between like main
Yeah,
quest points.
and
Yeah.
that can hurt the pacing of the game too. Like
Hmm.
whenever you want to just like see what else the game has to offer, because it's like it's got to be something more. Like look at all this land, look at all this beauty,
Yeah.
and then you get to like a boring ass side mission that's like a dumb story, and it just
Yeah.
gets me thinking like, if I was okay, if I was making this game, I'd be like, we're not putting something mediocre in this game. If it's a stupid side quest, like a stupid story that's not well written and there's no point to it, we throw it out. We're not using it. I want everything to be in this game to have something in it that is special. Every
Hmm.
side quest should be special, like Mass Effect. Pretty much
Yeah.
Mhm.
everything you do in Mass Effect 2 has meaning to it. Not all of them are amazing, but there's usually something of
Yeah.
value in a quest. But there's
Yeah. Like
so many
okay,
quests in this. Sorry.
like and I was gonna say like yeah with Mass Effect 2 like oh it's just it felt meaningless like doing it, but then 5 quests later it's like oh hey remember that thing you did, yeah we're gonna bring it up,
Mhm.
and here's the consequences of your actions.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
I feel like you were going to say something like there's a quest like, Aloy, I can't find the handle to my bucket. Can you
It's
help me?
basically stuff like that.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Dude, there's stuff like that
That's
where
it.
it's like I went and got something like from these like animals, and I brought it to like a guy who creates weapons, and he's like, "Okay, yeah, thanks. I can make this weapon." Or, and he literally says it like that. He's like, "If you get me this, then I could make this instead." And then he doesn't give you anything. That I was like, "Okay, so I just
What?
went and did that, and you told
yeah.
me go get me this other stuff, and I'll do and then I can do this for you." So I'm just like, "Come on, you Michael Cera
Like,
looking son of a bitch."
there's got to be a reward system in there.
So yeah, that
Why
was the
not like
thing. Like
shit quests?
I'm sure there are better side quests in the game, but at the point that I was getting tired of the game, I was tired of looking for those moments. I
Hmm.
did like if I do 5 side quests in the opening town and there's nothing of value in any of them, I'm not going to feel inclined to do 5 more in the next town, you know?
Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
pretty much mainlined the game once I was like, okay, I'm not feeling the game. And that's so unfortunate because I loved the first game so much. And
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to the sequel because I want to see more of these characters in Aloy. I do think there is some great elements. I really liked Carrie Ann Moss's character in this. I think that she was really cool, really interesting. But then the stuff around the group of people that she was with is really just like, why? Like, why did you come up with that? You could have thought of a
Hmm.
better reason for them to be here than that.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
it's a
which is
good experience in many ways, but it's just not this amazing thing that I was hoping it would be.
like something to be said still about Breath of the Wild is like, you can climb to a really tall mountain and go out of your way other than the main quest of the game, but it's more likely than not that you're going to find something up there of interest. Like
Hmm.
Yeah.
no matter how much I played the game or explored, I always found like something new or some part of the map that like I somehow hadn't gone to before. Even that one part where there's like that massive maze that's like off, like I forget what
Yeah.
part of the map. Yeah, yeah.
It's like
And
the
there's like a little
northeast-ish, like up in the like a
yeah, yeah, that
colliery.
sounds about
Yeah.
right. There's like a little island there, and there's like one of the troll looking dudes on it. I forget what they're called. And like and this was like way after I had pumped, tons of hours into it and had beaten the game. And I just like randomly had gone back there and I was like, holy shit, there's a whole area over here that I hadn't been to. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like that is like the difference in formulas between the two games is there was like always something to discover. And there's just probably still stuff, that I haven't found, but
Yeah,
just
there
as
was this weird moment in Horizon Forbidden West where I was on like a beach and I could see like a little like building and like out a little bit. So I swam to it. And I was like, oh, this is cool. I go all the way to the top. I get like a treasure chest thing. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what any of this does, but I got some type of materials for something. And then I see a little bit further. There's a bunch of ships like in the sea, and I'm like, oh shit. So I can go explore all these ships because you can go underwater and explore and stuff. I
Mm.
get almost to the ship, and then Aloy's like, I should probably turn back. And I'm like, really? I can't go explore these ships. They're not even that far from where I just was. So I don't know. That felt pretty limiting
It's
after
future
Mm.
playing.
DLC.
And the thing is, and sorry I'm talking so much this episode, but in the middle of playing Horizon Forbidden West, I played 2/3 of The Witcher 2 for no reason. It's an old ass game. I was just like, you know what? John talked about The Witcher 2. I'm gonna finish it. I put in like 25 hours into that game since this game came out. And then after that, not even exaggerating, I started Breath of the Wild and beat the entire game before getting back to Horizon Forbidden West. That's how you know, okay, the game just isn't what I wanted it to be. Like if I just
Just
beat
play those
all of
other
Breath
two
of the
out of
Wild,
spite.
I don't I don't know what it was about the game. It was just never calling my name. And then
Yeah.
I started Breath of the Wild, and before I knew it, I was 3 beasts in with a ton of shrines done, and I'm like, I'm finishing this game.
Yeah, it was funny because like Brett had messaged me. It was like, okay, I'm at this point. How much more of this game do I have left?
Yeah, and you said like I was probably like 75% done. I was
Yeah,
being a little generous. I was probably like halfway.
yeah. Well, like I couldn't remember. I looked up just the main quest list, and like in a list, it's about 75%, but I think that sequence
Oh
is
yeah, the
like
end and
a
stuff's
little bit
longer.
longer. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, the game I just ended up going through the main story. I had started off above the recommended level, so I was playing on normal, sort of shit, getting my shit kicked in, and because I don't know what I was doing, I was above recommended and dying in one hit. It literally made no sense. I must have missed
Mm.
something in the game, and I didn't care enough to just figure out the problem. So
Oh
once
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah. Wasn't it like an electric shock hit or something to that
it
one
was
boss?
it was any hit would kill me in one hit, like
What was
any
it?
time. It was harder than any Souls game I've ever played in my life. But I was
But
doing something wrong.
what was the answer?
Nothing. Nothing was the answer. I never figured it out. I ended up getting to a main story mission that said the recommended is like level 37, and I'm only like level 36. So I was like, you know what? Crank it to easy. Sooner or later, it's like recommended level 40, and then I'm like level 37. So I just crank it down to very easy. I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna get through this game and still try to have some type of challenge. And even
mhm.
after all that, which I know I still must have been doing something wrong, because even on very easy, I was dying in like 5 hits, which still seems
Huh.
a little crazy. Um, and and I want to stress, I do not suck at these types of games. This is my style of game.
Brett,
I
no.
miss it. I
Tell
seriously
them the
I don't
missed
truth.
something.
know.
Tell them
I
the
missed
truth.
something. I didn't understand, honestly. Like Horizon Zero Dawn, I thought was balanced so well. Like it was challenging, but also like satisfying, and just like I was on the edge of my seat the whole time, making it from point A to point B. Just the open world alone, like fighting through those monsters, was amazing. And in this game, I never really felt that. Like I don't know.
Maybe it was
I,
like some sort of weird glitch where like some sort of like armor or something didn't get upgraded as needed, and like the whole
I'll,
time you're thinking it's applied and it's not.
someone
Hmm.
had posted in a group in like a Facebook group, and they're like, guys, like I'm a little confused. Like I keep dying like really easily, and I'm playing on
Hmm.
normal, and I've done like everything they've said. And I don't understand. All the comments just straight up flamed him. And I'm like, I'm the only one that understands what's happening to him, but everyone
And
in the
you didn't
comments is
step
like, dude,
in.
get good, you suck. No, I ended up commenting saying, dude, I was having the same problem. Like I kept dying really easily, like from one basic hit from a normal enemy. I would be
Huh.
like all the way down to 0 health or dead.
I'm
That's
curious
so
what
weird.
gear you were using.
I kept switching my gear, and it wasn't making a
Okay, so you
difference.
tried multiple. Hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
I had to have been missing something.
maybe you're just not good at these games, Brett.
And anyway, I, I
Speechless.
I still think maybe one day I have hope that I'm gonna try to play this game again and try to fully
No,
understand it,
no,
take
you
my
won't.
time, figure out what I did wrong. I'm gonna play the PS4 version, so then I can do all the platinum trophy stuff. move my save over to the PS5 version and get 2 platinum trophies. There we go. Because you can't do it backwards. You can't platinum it on PS5 and move it to your PS4 and get 2 platinums. No, sir, says Sony. We can do it the other way around. Anyway, what are you guys playing?
Oh, that was this part?
Yeah.
Mary, what have you been playing?
Well, I went to PAX East this weekend. And I played a game that I am incredibly hyped for, Cult of the Lamb. I'm actually wearing my little shirt that I got.
That's awesome.
It's so cute, and I'm so looking, but it's so dark too, because it's like 2D, top down, really cute art style, and then it's like, oh, you're a lamb. You were supposed to be sacrificed for a ritual, but you get saved, and now you have to start your own cult, sort of thing. And so you're hacking, slashing, going. It's that kind of like roguelite, but then also base building. But you gotta like recruit your followers, and like you get stronger from like getting their praises and like sacrificing them potentially. So, but it was really fun. And I played another game called Rusted Moss, and it was like kind of like a 2D platformer, pixel art style, really interesting. And like it had this cool item that gives me like grapple beam vibes, like from Metroid, but it's got like bungee mechanics. So it's like you grapple and then you kind of like use the momentum to like then carry yourself up even higher. So, but it was really interesting. So I'm looking forward to both of those getting released for sure.
What was it called? What of Moss?
Rusted Moss.
Rusted Moss.
Yeah.
Really
Do you think
rolls off
either
the
of them
tongue.
will make it to Game Pass?
I can't remember what platforms Rusted Moss was going to be released on, but Cult of the Lamb I definitely could see, because it's supposed to come out on all the platforms. So I think that'll definitely be a Game Pass one.
Awesome.
Yeah, it looks really dope.
Oh yeah, there, Eric, you're the best. So yeah, that's Rusted Moss right there. So
Nice.
Oh, that looks sick.
yeah.
Looks like a Greg game for sure.
Hell yeah. I don't know. Cult of the Lamb looks pretty fun too.
Oh yeah.
I love
I wasn't
twin stick
looking at that
shooters.
one. I didn't see it. Oh, this one has like a grappling hook though. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love grappling hooks.
That
Mary,
machine
did
gun
you
looks
play
like
Shredder's
a Metal
Revenge?
Slug.
I didn't.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah. Okay, that was the thing too. I tried to get it through as many things as I could, but some of the lines were just really long,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I would
Um,
imagine that had one of the longest.
yeah, like and Tiny Build had like a huge booth there, but it was just constantly packed. Like, and even just
Jeez.
getting to play Cult of the Lamb, like I got there when it opened, and it still took like 2.5 hours to get through the line.
Jeez.
So that was my morning on Saturday.
Did you go to the Tiny Build booth?
No, I walked by it a few times. I just kept kind of like checking back on it, but it was always like super crowded. But some of the games that like were there looked familiar. I'd seen like other people, I think, like playing the demos. I just can't think of like the names of them right now. And they had like this giant glowing spider thing.
Nice. Was there
How,
any,
how
like...
did you feel?
Go ahead, Greg.
Oh, I was just gonna ask how did this feel? As a stepping foot into like I wouldn't call it post COVID because we're still kind of in
Yeah.
COVID, but being at a convention like this and with with COVID kind of still going on.
Yeah, it definitely still like feels kind of weird. Like you do have to like get a wristband, like show like proof of vaccines. Everyone still was having to wear a mask.
Oh,
So like it, which they enforced really well. The crowd was really good with it. But yeah, it still felt kind of weird, especially it being so much larger than like PAX West was. West still felt really small, and PAX East felt like normal con size. And I was like, oh, this is a lot of people here, you know? So,
yeah.
I think one of my favorite things about this era of time that we're in is that like, going to a store and there isn't a lot of people. And I'm just like, praise Jesus. Like
right.
my social anxiety is like way down and I can shop freely.
Yeah.
Wow. COVID made your life so much better.
Yep.
You heard it
Hats
here.
off to you, Mystery Virus.
Mystery virus. Yeah, I remember because I never really leave my house ever. It's just to like drop my kids off at school. And like I remember like so many people were like, "Ah, I hate being home all the time." And I'm just like, my life literally hasn't changed one bit this entire pandemic. Like it's been the
Yeah.
exact same as it was, minus
Ditto.
E3 and EGLA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. John, what have you been playing?
Take a guess.
Yakuza 3?
Yeah.
Yakuza 3?
Four.
4.
I'm a little more than halfway now. I didn't get to play a ton this week. I actually was kind of doing stuff, but this game is chronologically in terms of when Sega released them. This is the first game where you can play as like different characters, and this game has 4 characters. So now I'm on the third character, and he's at first it seems like he's just a crooked cop, but he's actually a crooked cop that uses the money he takes from people to like give it to people who need the money. So he's like a Robin Hood bad Japanese cop. And I'm really enjoying the change of pace. Like the main character Kiryu, like I love him, but it's just that's the crooked cop right there. That's I'm appreciating all the different protagonists because it's opening up kinds of side missions that you didn't get to see before. And like when you get to the 4th entry in a game, like you really need some variety. So I'm still enjoying my marathon of Yakuza. And on top of that, I've been playing a game that I kind of plan to review for the heck of it. I think it's called Anu Chard, I think. It's this indie game from I don't know who it's from. It might be their first game, but it's inspired by these Super Nintendo games that I really loved, like Soul Blazer and Terranigma. These are like old school top-down platformers. Yeah, there it is. And the game has a really pretty art style, and unfortunately, that's really its only strong point. if if you like that unique art style you can see on screen, like maybe you'll appreciate it. But so far, I'm really not vibing with it too much. It's really repetitive and like, yeah, but
Yeah.
it's trying. It's trying. So I appreciate it for at least making an effort to do something a little different. But that's it.
Awesome. Greg, what have you been up to playing?
Still playing some Xenoblade.
Wow.
Made some
Oh yeah.
progress on it.
Nice.
Yeah, you
Where you
doubted
at?
me.
I did doubt you.
Doubted
There's no
me.
way you're ever gonna beat that game.
Not a chance. I don't even remember where I'm at. I'd have to go look. But I made like some small progress. What else did I play this weekend? Oh, so I forgot that I had the 8-bit though, the SNES pad for the PC, which you can
Nice.
play. You can actually use this on the Switch. You just have to like do the like, I forget, it has some like weird connective way to connect it, but I used to play Street Fighter on the Switch all the time with it.
Mm.
But I played some emulated games. Um and
Thief.
I actually, there were games that I owned, which was weird because I wanted to like check some things. I forget. I downloaded a buttload, but check those out. Played a little bit of Apex, a little bit of Rocket League. Um, I know I booted up something else. I was gonna jump on my Xbox, but like I feel like there's nothing really draw me there right now. I was gonna go back and I think do another playthrough of Streets of Rage, and then I just like, nah, not even worth the effort to go download it again. Because like all I really play is Rocket League and Apex, and I was like, yeah, I'll probably download it, and never play it again. But yeah, it's been mostly quiet week.
Greg,
Oh,
do you
with
have?
Streets of Rage, you can just wait for the movie to come out.
No, yeah. There's some.
Very true. With the Rock, wasn't the Rock?
No,
that the main
that's
character?
It Takes Two with The Rock.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
How
I'm
weird
sorry.
is
I'm sorry.
that?
I confused the two.
It is quite the difference.
Yeah, It Takes Two is getting a movie. The Rock might be in it, but he is producing for sure. For a game that did so much awesome things with its level design, it's its art style, its combat, its gameplay, it's all its crazy mechanics. The worst part of the game was probably the story. Like it was very cut and dry, generic, love type story that didn't really do anything special. So I don't know how they're gonna make a movie fun unless it's way better written and does a whole different storyline.
Probably just be like Jumanji.
I mean, Jumanji was pretty good. The first one, I love that movie.
What
Well,
about
actually, not the
Jumanji with
first
the
one.
Rock in it?
Technically the second one. The first one with the Rock in it, I thought was good. Anyway, this has been Spot Dodge, a live Nintendo podcast. We come to you every single week, Tuesday night. Thanks for hanging out. If you made it this far, it really means a lot. We always get a little tired towards the end of the show. Everyone gets quieter. We lose our energy. So let's just head on out. Mary, where do people want to know to find? I mean, where can people go to find you?
I was also going to say I'm super jet lagged, hopping from coast to coast this
I
week.
feel extremely tired too.
Then you can find me over on the Destructoid channel, hosting. Oh my gosh, now I can't do words. I blame you, Brett. Starting over. You can find me over on the Destructoid channel hosting the Destructoid show with Brett on TikTok and Snapchat. And then I am Mary Wants a Cookie on Twitch and Twitter.
And you can get a peek at Mary's time at PAX on our TikTok. She just posted one earlier. That's really funny. Greg, if people want to find you, where can they go?
You can find me over on TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube at Dynamite_Giraffe, as well as over on PC Invasion. I cover news a couple times a week. My bylines are over there, and I think that's it.
Awesome. And John, hope you got something special for us. Where can people go to find you?
I got nothing.
No, come on.
I saw the Batman 2 was announced,
And
so that's what I'm looking at. No. Anyway, you can catch me wherever I am. You can catch me here on this podcast. You can find me on Twitter before it gets shut down or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's
Before it
leaving
gets
Twitter
musked.
now. Yeah.
You can catch him turning off the Batman movie on HBO Max.
Yeah, that was a good one. That's what you should have said.
I mean, it wasn't as good as Moonfall, man. When they make a Batman movie as good as Moonfall, I will watch it the whole way through. Until then, there we are. And you can catch me writing stuff at The Escapist. I may or may not be doing that right now with the Batman 2. And yeah, and I'm making a video game called Boss Saga. Check it out at boss-saga.com.
You can find pictures right on the home screen, Brett Larson, if you're watching this.
If there was ever any doubt.
And if you want to find me, you can find me over on the Destructoid TikTok, as well as this podcast every single Tuesday night. So please leave us a review, leave a comment down in the comments section below. It would really mean a lot. You can be a part of the show. We're going to read it on the show. If you comment, we will read it on the show.
Even if you're not a sex bot. Wow.
No, even if you're a sex bot. You said the exact opposite thing. And we will talk to you guys later. Goodbye.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.